All right. Let's do this. Okay. Actually, I need to move this. Well, hello, gang. Let me make sure that's working. Can you hear the mic? Yeah, I think you can. Hi, welcome. This is the March 30th joke writing stream. Had some technical issues already. We'll see how those things pan out. Not really sure what's going on, but just like one of the things in OBS is really laggy. So last minute, I had to try to figure that out. So as you can see, it says adventure jokes. Who cares? It doesn't matter. So the idea here is that we get together and I will show you a prompt. Actually, I don't know if I can do that because I changed the scene. I'll just have to read it out, I guess. Yeah, that's what I'm going to have to do. I'll just have to read the prompts because I've had so many technical issues just trying to get this thing started. Before I forget, let me say thank you so much to the patrons who support the channel. I really appreciate it. You guys, I'm looking extra bald today. That makes me feel good. Yeah, thank you so much. Really appreciate it, guys. You can see their names here, these heroes. And now I'm hearing the music, but I think it's stopped for you, so that's fun. And now you should have it back. So anyway, let me get to my list of prompts. Here we go. I had this all nicely set up, of course, and then just a couple of technical issues, and just everything gets thrown into a pit of despair. Yeah, I could definitely copy and paste. But yeah, everything was fine earlier, and now, of course, it's everything's gone to hell. So anyway, yeah, thank you everybody for joining me. It is March 30th. And this is our joke writing stream. If you want to participate in the joke writing, you do need to be on the Discord, where we have a little bit more control over folks. I will check the YouTube chat if you want to write jokes there, but I will score the ones from the Discord channel. Might have a double whammy today of slightly lower turnout and also OBS technical issues. We'll see how we get on. So, where's my prompts? There we go. All right, here's my list of prompts. I just wrote some new ones. Okay, here is prompt number 1. If I got shrunk to 1 inch tall, this is going to be your prompt for today, or your first one anyway. So what's going to happen now is the, first of all, as we learned last week, there's about a 2-minute lag between me saying stuff and the chat hearing it and actually being able to type a response. I tried to do like a joke writing D&D session a couple of weeks ago, and it went terribly. It was a real technical masterpiece. Oh, let me get the timer up, but the timer is gone. There we go. So as I say, it takes a few minutes between saying something and the chat actually being able to write some jokes and put them in. What they're going to do is they're going to try to write jokes that just have good a setup and a punch, 2 stories, no tags. And as they do that, I'm going to score them. And it's all just for fun, you know. The scoring is, you know, it just adds some fun to the thing, but it doesn't really matter because the idea is that we all get inspired by one another, possibly. Let's see if I can come up with something. And your joke does not need to include the prompt, so you don't have to like include the words of the prompt or anything like that. What would happen if I were shrunk to 1 inch tall? Not only can I find my contacts, I can swim in them. Can't type though. Something like All right, some jokes are coming in on the chat. You can see me floundering, trying to think of anything. These guys are coming up with some better stuff. So let's see. All right. Let me add some players here. Looks like we got Joke Machine Gun has joined us. Looks like Kip Nugget is going to write some jokes. Okay. So let's see. Joke Machine Gun says, I'd smash mad ants. Yeah. Do want to get it in the form of a joke if possible. So like, Koi's asking if we've had this prompt before. Yes, we have. It's just one of the ones that got deleted because I had so many technical issues last minute. My shrink would miss poking my brain. A typical wordplay joke from Kip. I'm going to give that a 2. I'd smash mad ants. I think I think this person is intending to have sex with ants. So I'm going to give that a 1. If I get shrunk, I'd be like, honey, we shrunk ourselves. I do like the Moranis reference. Not sure if it's particularly in a joke shape, though. Coop has joined us. I'd swing on a penis and maybe a ball. All right, Kip has got a formed joke of sorts. Not sure about a penis and a ball, Coop. I'm going to give that one a 1. Ever since I became 1 inch tall, it's been a lot harder to give people an inch since it's all I have left. Yeah, wordplay again. My thing right now is I'm starting to think that this prompt sucks. I think that's what Koi was trying to suggest. Let me see if I can find a better one now that I'm not under the gun. All right, this one I like. So we'll use that next. So yeah, just a minute left to go on this prompt. If you're coming up with anything. Kip's got some more. He says, boy, am I glad I painted all those D&D minis when I was little. It's hard to make friends when you're as small as me. Yeah, this just sounds like a blog post. Not sure about that one. Coop says, if I was shrunk to 1 inch tall, I'd swing on a penis and maybe a ball. Oh, I get it. It's a poem. All right, I'm going to give it a few more points just because it rhymes. By the way, music on the stream this time. Maybe that's what was screwing things up, is trying to do the music. I don't know. It seems to be working now. So, 15 seconds to go on that one. I guess what's not working about this, and tell me you guys what you think. I guess the whole situation is just in the, you know, like it's all in the premise. There's not a lot of room. All right, well, it's over anyway. No, officer. Kip Nugget says, no, officer. All I had was 1 glass of wine. Not clear on what that means. I got shrunk one time, but only because my mom didn't wash me on the cool setting. Yeah. All right, I'll give that a 3. All right, we'll have a better prompt this time, guys. I promise. Here we go. New prompt. Turn-ons that are not horny. There's your new prompt. We'll get the timer going again. Refresh that. All right, 5 minutes. Oh, there's no music on this. Hang on, just trying to do. There we go. I just wanted my sweet music to be on here. Something about like tax season, maybe. How do I approach it? Surprise me, Daddy. All right. Let's see what these guys have got. Joke Machine Gun says, let me get back to the writing stream. There we go. Joke Machine Gun says, I had to break up with my GF because she liked doing this thing in bed where she'd sleep. Yeah. I mean, I feel like that is, I'm going to give that a 5. I feel like that is horny. But again, you don't have to follow the prompt, so we'll take it. What about like I love a good typer. Maybe too much. They probably shouldn't have wigs on them. Again, though, that is horny. All right. Joke Machine Gun says, my professor in college gave a semester-long course on rocks, and I haven't stopped thinking of her. I'm not sure if this is a joke or just something that he's telling us about himself or herself. You know, on the one hand, I want to say, why not just reach out to that person and say, you know, hey, what are you doing? But, you know, there could be an age mismatch there, you know, some professional considerations. You're a college level geologist. It's probably bad form to date your, students. What about like could just leave it there. I'm influenced sexually by whatever's going on in my life. It's hard during tax season. You know, I feel like that's one of those that I feel like that's one of those jokes that you'd have to say and then stare at the audience until they figured out what you meant by it's hard during tax season. They might come around. They might not. All right, we got some jokes in the chat. Let's see. Koi says, I'm usually attracted to women with really big breasts. I have a horrible back and I want to be with someone who can relate. Yeah. I like that. That's what I was trying to get at with this prompt is like, like stuff that, there's the end of the timer. So that's the timer for this particular prompt. I like it when stuff seems like it's going to be a very like open micer style horny joke, and then it doesn't, and then it just doesn't do that. That's enjoyable. Oh, Lord Tox is here. Let me add you to the scoreboard. And Coop says, some of my turn-ons aren't horny. I love the feeling of wind on my bare buttocks while my penis is covered. I don't know what to say about that, Coop, but I did laugh, so I can't take that away. I'm gonna give it a 7. I guess I like that it's like it's weird. I like that. I'm not sure. I guess, yeah. So the first story is we're not horny, and then at the end of the joke, it has become pretty horny. Although while my penis is covered, I don't know. It still has a certain frisson of sexuality, doesn't it? Even though your penis is covered. Lord Tox says, I was really turned on when she offered to split the bill, but she wasn't into it when I said I couldn't pay the other half. Yeah. Solid work, Tox. I'm going to give that an 8, my man. Yeah. Dr. Teal, if you're out there, get in touch with Choke Machine Gun. Wants to talk about some rocks. Some very hard rocks. All right. Look, I'm going to get a better prompt. Let me get a better prompt going. What do we got here? All right, let's do drugs now. Here it is. Drugs I would invent and their effects. Normally I have these all kind of set up so that they appear nicely on screen. And normally the title at the top of the window matches what we're actually doing. This is Joke Writing Grand Prix, not adventure jokes. It doesn't matter. But normally you, as you know, people joining, you would be able to see the prompt. But this is it. Drugs I would invent and their effects. So let's see what I can do. Well, let me get the timer going. Start, you bastard. There we go. But I got fired for getting caught. But I got fired for getting caught and for them being amphetamines. Too many moving parts, I think. How about she said, amphetamine is not a vitamin. There we go. Let's see how the timer's doing. Yeah, 3 minutes 50. Got a couple coming in on the chat here. What about... I'm like, this is starting out. This premise here is kind of forcing me into a monologue style joke. So I'm thinking of Joe Toplin's monologue joke format. The what does he say? It's like topic, angle, and then punch. So this is the topic. Something like too long of a punch. It's too long, but it's there. Okay. Couple of jokes coming in on the chats. Let's see what we got here. Coy says, there are so many drugs that make you more wild and creative. Can't there be just one that makes doing taxes feel fun? Yeah. I'll give you a 6 for that. I would imagine, not having done it, that if you were, you know, pretty high or tripping, your taxes would be more. I mean, as long as somebody else is doing the taxes, you know. If you're having to do it yourself and you can't concentrate, that would be uncomfortable. Coy says, I want to invent a really addictive drug, but the main effect is it makes you want to complete a 12-step program. Yeah, I like the recursiveness of that. I will give that a 7 for sure. Joke Machine Gun says, I found a drug hidden in the Australian wilderness the native tribes would take. It made you feel like you were flying, and magically you could be productive. Anyway, it was called Lexapro. Yeah. I think that's a... I gave you a 7 for that. But I think that's just a... I'm not sure what Lexapro does. Is it just like a... What does Lexapro do? Yeah, depression and anxiety. That was cool of the Australians to share that with you. How about something like which is nuts because my main stress is money. Now, normally I wouldn't talk this way. My main stress is... You would say my main stressor, but I don't know that a lot of people know that word. Maybe it needs to be simpler. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it really has the good like twist that you want to see. Let me get back to the chat jokes. Here's the timer. That's the timer on that prompt. Coop has got a joke. I'd love a drug that would grow my foreskin back, Dad. Yeah, I thought it was in poor taste when he took that from you. Give that a 6. Koi says, being with my girlfriend is like a drug, and that drug is melatonin. She is boring. Yeah, I like that. 8. Koi says, I've never done drugs unless you count like Advil and alcohol and meth. Yeah. Rule of threes. Had to be done. Yeah, for sure. All right, let me find another prompt. Okay, here, this is one that I like. Here it is. Wizards in the dating scene. Now, when I'm imagining this prompt, wizards in the dating scene, I'm thinking about like a Gandalf type of guy going on Tinder or whatever and trying to meet someone. But I realize the terminology is a little bit unfun because like crazy incel dudes call themselves wizards. So I'm not looking to dip into that area of the world by any means. I'm coming at it from a silly direction, but I'm going to leave it as wizards. Just with the caveat that this is not a joke about or an invitation to behave like incels. Something like showing up dressed like Gandalf. Pretty long Lord of the Rings reference. Do we need it? I don't know. Magic can only do so much. Hey, I don't want that line break. Get that dumb thing out of here. Oh, that's worse. Oh, I guess I gotta live with it. Yeah. You'd think dating a wizard would be great. They just do a single spell and clean up your whole apartment. But in reality, they just give frogs huge titties. I mean, who doesn't love a frog with huge titties? Come on. All right, let's see what this chat's got to say. Koi is reacting to me talking about crazy incel dudes calling themselves wizards. He says, crazy incel dudes call themselves wizards, ? You learn something new about Harry Potter every day. Yeah, my introduction to that whole wizard thing was from what was the name of that lady? Ellie something. Yeah, her book is called Black Pill: How I Witnessed the Darkest Corners of the Internet Come to Life, Poison Society, and Capture American Politics by Elle Reeve. It's quite a read. It's pretty heavy, but it's quite a read. I recommend it. Let's see what else we got here. So, Koi, I'm going to give you points for that. Harry Potter joke. Why not? Coop says, women only care about looks and status. No one gives a shit about beard length anymore. That is true. As a guy who had a very, very long beard, you hear a lot of compliments from other dudes. Not a lot of chatter about it from the ladies. Give you a 5 for that, Coop. Joke Machine Gun says, I was told of a wizard who was wise, and I ventured to seek his guidance on the conquest of love. After 100 days and endless miles, I found him in a cave and said, I bequest thy knowledge on romance, please abide. And he said, get your money up, not your funny up. I guess, I felt as the setup is going that we're probably going to get to a moment like that, but I liked it anyway. It was long, Joke Machine Gun, but I did like it. I'm going to give it a 6. I think that failed. There you go. Get your money up, not your funny up. All right. Koi says, I always say you should go on any first date dressed as a wizard. That way the other person will leave and you get to do it again with someone else. Yeah, I like that. It's a never-ending cycle, isn't it? Kip says, my opinion on wizards dipping their feet in the dating pool has completely flipped. It's never been easier to come up with excuses to why my room has black mushroom molds growing everywhere. I feel like these are premises, Kip. My opinion on wizards dipping their feet in the dating pool has completely flipped. It's never been easier to come up with... Yeah. Not sure these are working, bud. But I'm going to give you a couple of points just because I love you. So far, I think Koi has managed to deliver... I mean, this one about... I always say you should go on any first date dressed as a wizard. I think that one works well. What about something like... People always told me my tattoos would stop me getting a good job, but when I go to interviews, they're covered up by my wizard robes. Yeah, Joke Machine Gun now is hitting on something I haven't even thought about. All right, there's the timer for this prompt. He says, I matched with a beautiful wizard lady on Hinge one time, but she used her invisibility the entire time. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's exactly the order that you want. But I think that's a funny idea. Invisibility. Or you could do something like, I promise I do have a really beautiful girlfriend. She's a witch. And she's just, she doesn't talk much and she's invisible. But she exists, I promise. All right. Let's get another prompt going here. Okay, here we go. New prompt, gang. Sports improvements. So, stuff that could make sports better. What can we do there? Sorry this stream is so haphazard, gang. I started getting ready for it this morning, and everything was fine until right before it's time. And I'm having technological issues. I think golf would be better with shotguns. I'm trying a different angle now. Sure, you might occasionally hit a spectator, but at least they'd wake up. Because it's boring, see? I thought this would be a funny premise, but it's not working out. Something about football. They should encourage intimacy. All right, let's get back over here. See what these guys are doing. Kip Nugget's got a joke for us. He says, went up to my tunes. There we go. Life is all about perspective, he says, Kip Nugget. Ever since I discovered eating sports, my obese ass has been in top condition. Oh, eating sports. Ever since I discovered eating sports, my obese ass has been in top condition. I'm not sure that's exactly the order of the words that you wanted, but I do get what you're going for. Joke Machine Gun says, baseball is weird. They set up a wall, put the audience there, and aim at them. Yeah, I like that. How about a 6 for that? Baseball is weird, though. We can agree there. And baseball's with pie. What does that mean? I don't know. Is it interesting? Not really. Is it a joke? Not really also. I was just thinking, like, I saw somebody hit a golf ball with a baseball bat one time, and that thing really went a long way. So I was just thinking, what if they replaced golf balls with baseballs? I don't think that would help golf much. All right, Joke Machine Gun's got a joke for us. He says, I think we should settle world matters based on sports rather than war. You want the gasoline? Put on some tights and do flips. Yeah. I kind of like that. And I laughed, so I can't say I didn't. But we got a close match. I guess I like the dismissiveness of put on some tights and do flips. I'm trying to think of a way to get in, like talk about the World Cup somehow, but it's not coming to me. Coy's got a joke for us. He says, the Yankees set a home run record last night by changing the shape of their bats. They're following in the footsteps of Lance Armstrong, who found success by changing the shape of his balls. I don't know. It does. I think it kind of. I think it would get a laugh if you said it. Oops, I gave the wrong person the score. My bad. The news story is true, so I was trying to make something out of it. Yeah, I did hear about the Yankees having a crazy, a bunch of home runs. Trying to think of any other reason. Baseball jokes aren't really coming to me today. Not having a good brain day. And I got some sleep and everything. I wonder what's going on. Yeah, I'm just flustered by the technical issues. All right. One last. We'll do one last prompt. When I see my crush, I. That'll be our final prompt. All right, Coy's got another joke for us on sports. I was watching golf on TV, and I realized that if I could change one thing, it would be the channel. Yeah, solid. Coop says, pole vaulting extreme, 10 points if your penis hits. If it hits what? Or is it like... It hits as in like it slaps? Oh, if it hits the bar, you mean? I'm not clear. What am I doing in this joke? I was trying to think about something where like... Local McDonald's has asked me to stop talking sexy to the drive-thru workers, but they need to calm down. I'm talking to the fries. Oh, I see. Yeah, they were talking about Wankus hitting the pole vaulting bar. Coy's got a joke for us. He says, my heart is always racing when I see my crush. It's a real problem because she's my cardiologist. Yeah, she thinks I have a thyroid problem. Yeah. Who among us hasn't been there? Joke Machine says, I finally had to tell her I couldn't help it. After years and years of this feeling. We need some more punctuation. I couldn't help it after years and years of this feeling. So I traveled to her job and asked if I could talk to her. I said, there's not a day I don't think about you. To me, no matter what happens, you will be the most beautiful person I've ever seen inside and out. And she said, we've been married for 10 years. A little bit of a shaggy dog there. I'm going to give it out of 4. little bit long. A little bit long, bud. Coop says, when I see my crush, I like to remind her that she is mine forever and there's nothing she or her cop dad can do about it. Yeah, I like that one. I'm going to give that a 7, Coop. I guess I like the, I don't know, there's something about the optimism of saying, like, there's nothing you or your cop dad can do about it because he could shoot you. That would be doing something. But yeah. See if I can come up with anything else. My crush's dad says I can't see her anymore. He's also my optometrist. A little bit of a wordplay thing, you know, but I'm going to let it slide because I'm willing to forgive myself in a lot of ways that I wouldn't forgive other people, you know? We got some good jazz going now here. Like this. All right, chat. We've got about a minute and a half left to go. Let's see if I can write anything else. What I'm thinking about here is like I wrote the poem on the bathroom wall. That's dumb. I was thinking like, so running through my mind right now, it's like who does in this joke, who does my therapist turn out to be? Does it turn out to be bartender, stripper, bus driver? Yeah, nothing's happening. I see the chat is coming up with some stuff, so let's get back to them. It's 10 seconds to go on this timer. I'll just call it done. So let's see what these guys have to say. Joke Machine Gun says, when I see my crush, I want to bring peace to the world. No laws exist, so that this restraining order becomes null. Yeah, there you go. That is worth 7, I think. Kip Nugget says, I was heartbroken when my crush told me we couldn't see each other. It's been really difficult since she lost her eyesight. Yeah. Coy says, the lady at McDonald's always smiles at me when she hands me my Big Mac. It's the most romantic part of my day outside of what I do with that Big Mac. Yeah, I like that. I think that's a better expression because we're left to imagine what you would do to the Big Mac. I like that. I like that your interaction with the Big Mac is suggested rather than explicit. Joke Machine Gun says, I wrote a poem for my crush, but she couldn't read it because she's not allowed in the Chili's men's restroom. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking with my premise, but I didn't quite get there. I think you did a much better job with it than I was doing. I'm going to give that a 7, Joke Machine Gun. Koi says, one time in middle school, I gave a poem to my crush. It sounds cringy unless you know that I had a crush on my English teacher and it was mandatory. Yeah, I like that. What if, I think instead of it was mandatory, you probably want like it was my homework, because otherwise it was mandatory. It sounds, but I think we know where you're going and I like it. All right. Koopa finished the joke I was trying to write. That's good. I told my therapist I have a thing for her and that thing is my first erection in months. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to give that a 7. I mean, obviously that's, that's where the joke is going. They're always going down your pants somehow, aren't they? Yeah, good times. He edited it. It says, one time in middle school, I gave a poem to my crush. It sounds cringy unless you know I had a crush on my English teacher and I got a C-. Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Well, gang, we have come to the end of our hour of joke writing. I apologize about the sort of ragged technical end of this thing. I don't know what's, usually these things are easy. And, this one's been, I don't know, just had some technical issues. So I'll have to get that sorted out for next time. Oh, Lord Toxic's got a joke. When I saw my crush at her work, I had to ask her out. The manager told me, sir, this is a Chuck E. Cheese. Please leave the animatronics alone. Yeah. It's too bad that we needed some extra words there, Tox. I'm going to give you a 7 for that. We needed some, I think you feel like you needed some extra words there to get, so that we would understand what you meant by the animatronics. Which is a shame, but I do like that. And I think that would have worked in the turn-ons that are not horny category also. But yeah, I dig it. Anyway, as I say, guys, thanks so much for hanging. Like I said, some kind of ragged technical issues on this one. I'm also not particularly feeling my best because of just allergies and generally being an old man. But hey, thanks for hanging. Hope all's well with you. We'll do another one of these very soon. And yeah, thank you guys for hanging out. I gotta figure out which button to push. Maybe it's this.